Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me, but it sounds like you're gone again.
Okay, I emailed everybody the picture of what we're gonna be working on today. Right now, you're just looking at the blank screen. But I sent everybody, I don't know if you can see this here.
The eye.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm fixing to get started. I'm in the studio. There's 3 students here that have joined me today. And we're gonna get started on the drawing. So you guys can follow along by looking at the picture. All right, so we're gonna get started on this. This is the first time I've done this before. Yeah, in the spring but I was in a different room and it was, I was more used to the other room, but okay, we're gonna start this. And if I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but I made a couple of marks, like I'm gonna try and make this a little darker. This here. And that's how big I want my drawing to get. It's like setting my margins for the drawing. This is how tall I want it to be. And then this is approximately how wide I want it to be. I'm gonna try and stay within those limits. But I mean, it's if I need to, I'll make it a little bit bigger or make it a little bit smaller. But it's always good to just decide how big you want to make your drawing. That way you can contain it and it doesn't get way too big or too small. And you can make the drawing on a 9x12 sketchbook. All right, and so now I've got my margins of how big I want it to be, how tall and how wide. And I'm gonna start in the same way we've been doing it, by making the envelope. And the eye, it's a rectangle, but it's with the envelope, I have the option of having more than 4 lines, so I can have up to 6 lines when I do this. And I'm, keeping it very, very sketchy. And like those of you that are here in the classroom, in the studio, if you look at how I'm drawing this, these first lines that I'm doing, I'm pretty much just moving my shoulder and my arm, not so much my wrist or my fingers at this point. There's a little bit of an angle here, and then here as well. So that's the envelope for the cast of the eye, right? So I got, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I ended up with 7 lines. But I mean, it's no big deal. I say 5 or 6, but sometimes you have to go over. All right, so that's the outside shape, and I can also start to go inside now, because over it's a very simple shape. So I'm going to start to go inside. This is the brow. And then a form that overlaps the upper eyelid. And see what I'm doing with the eyelids. I'm, you know, I'm not just making a curve. It is a curve, but I'm not just drawing a curve. I'm trying to see the structure of that curve, you know. And I'm gonna, you know, keep working on this until it looks more, you know, more precise. Again, this is the upper eyelid here. And then the fold under the lower eyelid as well here. See now, I made that mark there, and I think maybe I need more space here, but I'll continue to work on it, and then I'll go back and erase. Now this is the eyeball within the eyelid here.
Sir, I think you have another student waiting to join the meeting.
All right, I will go let them in. Now, like the students that are here with me, I set up easels, and all the easels are, I mean, they're set up vertically. So you want to get into the habit of drawing like this, because when you look at something vertically, see like this, you know, this is the drawing I was doing on Friday. When something is vertical to you and it's flat, you can see it accurately. But once it starts to, if you're drawing at an angle, it gets distorted. Your drawing gets distorted. So for this class, you want to get into the habit of drawing on an easel or a drafting or drawing table, and that the drawing is vertical and flat facing you. That way it'll be easier to be accurate. So now, so this is a good start here. I'm going to map out a little bit of the see how I break down the edge of the shadow here. See how many lines I broke it down into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And look at the type of line that I'm making, a very sketchy, very light line. And the features that I've set up here in the studio, and the eye that you guys are drawing there at from your homes, can anybody guess as to where these features come from? What sculpture they're from? If you take an art history or you just like art, these features should look familiar to you from a very famous statue, very famous sculpture by one of the most beloved artists from art history.
It's not David, is it?
Yeah, this is the
The Statue of David?
the 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 features of the face of Michelangelo's David. Okay, someone's coming in.
Knew it was familiar.
Get closer. So that's my first attempt at the drawing, right? I've got it blocked in. I'll take a photo for documenting it.
Sir, I did have a question.
Okay.
When it comes to the homework and documenting the steps, how many documentary photos are you looking for?
I mean, I don't have like I don't have a specific number, but I want to see that. I want to see more than
I'm
one or more than three. Like I want to
so
see that
5 would be fair.
I would say 10.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That way
All
that
right.
I can see that you're following and then you're erasing and then you're correcting your mistakes. Like right now, I mean I like this, but I think I need more space here. I think the eye maybe got too wide or too long. So I'm going to erase it lightly.
So you want to see the corrections and the erasing.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that tells me that you're recognizing the errors and you're trying to fix them.
Okay, that
Yeah.
all right. I was just unsure of the amount.
Yeah, no, that's I mean it can be 8, can be 12, but not I mean more than 2, more than 3, definitely.
Yeah.
So there I've erased it, but I can still use what I have to to get me started again. And so I keep looking at the actual cast.
That
And remember this is the type of line that you want to be focusing in right now. Let me move this over to an area here. See, you don't want to have any line like this kind of sharp line. You don't want this kind of line yet. This is like the finishing type of line work that you want to have. You want to keep it very, very sketchy. And also, I mean, I'm gonna keep it very, very flat. Once I start shading, I think I can make this. As I go back over it, I can shade this down a little bit here. And move this in as well here. See, that was my initial line, but now I'm going in more. I think this probably need more space. So I'm gonna bring this down. I keep looking at this distance. I don't know.
Nothing much. No. I thought y'all were supposed to have construction today.
You might want to mute your
Sorry.
mic. That's okay. I know it's kind of hard to keep up with all the drawings because drawing is what anytime you take a studio course, it's very time consuming. But you do want to you want to do the notes on shading. That will make it'll make more sense. And I'll review as I start to shade this.
These weren't the notes you gave us over the weekend, no?
Yes. So this week we're gonna work on this drawing, and then I want to jump into drawing the face, and we'll be drawing some of the plaster casts that we have. We have 3 or 4 portrait busts. See this, the circle of the iris. See, I'm breaking it down into straight lines here. Now look at this distance here. And of course, the eye is a very challenging feature of the face, and very, it always attracts our attention. You know, the eyes are very demanding. And I think as I work on this, I think the eye itself has gotten a little too big. But I think it's more accurate than my first attempt. And also what is, I think what is very beneficial about drawing these casts is that it's because it's Michelangelo's David. Well, it's teaching us the way that a great sculptor dealt with the features. You know, he really understood the anatomy and the structure. So it's good to see what another artist edits out and what he exaggerates. In a way, it's simplified, but it's also it's stylized according to his taste. But see, like in the eye, I see, of course, the eyeball, then the structure of the eyelid, and I'll talk a little bit more of that when I start to shade. And see, I think I can cut into this here. And see, this is where I started, right? But see how much I've moved. But at least I have not gotten bigger. And that's always something I see students, struggle with in drawing and in figure drawing. Their drawing just gets too big or it's too small. All right, so that's looking, it's looking okay, but I see some problems. I see this distance from the outer corner of the eye to the edge where the boundary of the cast is located. I think I put too much space there. So I have to move this in. I have to move it in something like this here. And see, this distance is too much. I gotta move this also. So it has continued to get smaller. And one thing also that I want to remind you guys is like right now I'm sitting down, I'm looking at the drawing, and to get a better or like a fresh look at this, if it's looking correct. I'm gonna stand up and look at it from a distance. So yeah, I mean, you want to get up and take a look, see what you can see that is not correct. Uh, sometimes you just need to get a little bit of distance from your work. So I mean, it's getting there. I like how this is starting to look. Also, one thing I wanted to, I think I had mentioned this to you guys. I got the art department to order us some supplies, and I'm gonna give everybody here this is a sandpaper block here. Showing up. Here's it's sandpaper. Just sharpen your pencil. Now, like on this, keep it more angular. It's coming out. It's looking nice, but you know, like maybe some of the lines are starting to look too curvy. Keep it more angular. And yes, some of you might never have seen. This is how this works here. This is these are very inexpensive, you know, I think like $1 or something. And this is sandpaper to sharpen your pencils. So you grab it like this. And when you use this, don't put pressure like this because it'll break the lead of your pencil. You kind of have to put the whole thing on the sandpaper block, and just as you do this, you kind of turn it around and around. And there. And it has several sheets, right? So once it runs out of the tooth, you can, you know, tear it out, and there will be another one underneath. So I'm going to erase this again. So I encourage everybody to do the same thing, you know, erase it lightly, because it's not all a waste of a drawing. There's some things that I like, and there's some things that I need to correct. Hello? Who's here? Shay. So Shay, we're drawing the features of the face. I would recommend, like, you sit here close by so you can see them a little bit better. Yeah. And you can do them on like a 9x12. Okay. Yeah. I'm using this big pad, but you can do them on a 9x12. So I'm gonna give this another go here. Now the photo that I send you guys might be a slightly different angle than what I have here. Than the angle that I'm sitting here at. See, that's the area of the brow here. Very prominent on this sculpture, on this cast. See, I'm going to focus on its overall shape because I still think I made the eye too big. So I can go back in and reduce a little bit the size of the of the eyeball and the eyelids. But I do like the shape that this is taking here. And see, I forgot to take progress photos. I understand the challenge that presents itself because you get into the drawing and you just kind of forget. And see, this here is a little bit of the side plane. And see, my lines are becoming more defined because I'm feeling more confident about the overall look of the drawing here. And see, this is the shadow shape that I'm describing, and it's trying to keep it very simplified. And because this is form shadow, it's very on the cast itself, the edges are very soft, but I'm exaggerating their sharpness. And I start to think of this like when we did the positive negative space, positive negative shape drawings. So like I'm thinking of this shape here, this shadow shape. Just as a flat area. And you know, like I was mentioning to one of the students here, you want to emphasize this angular quality. To to the drawings. And see, right now I'm forgetting on purpose, that this is a three-dimensional form, and I'm so that it helps me in getting it more accurate. I'm just looking at the flat shapes. So I'm breaking the drawing up into its more manageable parts or components, the envelope, the block in, flat shape. See, this that I've described there those are the shadows. These other values that I see over here are not so much shadows, but like those darker values in the light mass. See, there is there's also a shadow here. So this is the area of the tear duct here, and there's a little bit of I don't think this is shadow, but that those dark lights here, but it has a very distinct shape. And this as well here. And see, the pupil has this kind of heart shape that is carved into it. And then there's because it's like a cavity in here. There's a shadow inside. And in regards to documenting the drawing, so like you should have a photo of the envelope as you start to block it in, and also like what I'm doing now, just the separation of positive, negative space, or light and shadow. And see this is the eyebrow here. This zigzag pattern here. And remember, always keep squinting at your drawing. Squinting uh, helps in editing out details and and values. It helps in simplifying what you're looking at. See, I think this helped me. It helped me in making this correction. I think this just needs to be smaller. So see, now I would take a picture. So overall, I'm happy with this. And another thing that is a part of this drawing, of course, is the cast of the eye itself is casting a shadow on the wall. And I want to put that in there as well. Because I want to, when I start shading this, I want this to be a drawing where I'm not just focusing in here, but also on the area around it. And see, the shadow is very descriptive of the cast itself here. See, this is going off the camera here, but I'm gonna put it in there anyway. And there's some little dark areas of shadow here. There's some lines here that I'm not going to focus in at this point because those are, you know, we want to keep in mind that you're working general to specific. This is not the time for the details yet. It's just keeping it simple. Now that, you know, the first or second day of class, we did a review where we did different types of drawings. We did positive, negative, construction, construction line drawing, cross contour line. So a little bit of that goes into the next, you know, stages, you know, especially construction drawing and cross contour. You know, a cross contour line describes the surface, describes the topography of the cast, you know, like what is of a higher elevation, what's of a lower elevation, and how that interacts with the light and shadow. And also, like because I'm gonna start shading, you want to start to think about planes. You know, planes. What I mean by a plane, let me move the drawing here to an area where I can do a little demo. You know, planes are very descriptive and can help us understand value. See this drawing that I'm doing here. See, this is just it's a flat shape, right? You see it like this. It's just a flat shape. But once I go inside and I do this and this, it becomes a form, right? So it became a box. Because I indicated, you know, the top plane, the top plane, front plane, and side plane, right? I don't know what's on top, what's front, and what's side, and also what's under. And so that is going to interact with light, you know, like I've got this piece of paper here, right? Because if I fold it, I crease it there. See, I have two different values, the top and then this one. Right? If I fold it again, depending how. See there, we got three different values there. And so that's what's happening on the surface of the cast when you see all those values. Anytime you see a value change, you are seeing a different plane that is more light facing or less light facing. So you want to keep that in mind as I go in here and do the. It's gonna look. It's gonna look very blocky, you know, like anytime I see a plane, I see a different value, I'm gonna try and indicate it. Because there's a lot of different values over here. And see on the bottom or the bag under the eye, this is what this is, right? There's a separation of value here. See, that's what that is, you know, just to indicate, I mean, there's more. I don't want to cover it up too much, but that's just to explain what it is when you see a change in value. It's a plane that changes. Also, like I'm gonna draw a very lightly a cross contour line. Let's say that, you know, I had this professor that he would explain is like, you know, imagine you take a little ant, you know, and you dip it in ink and then you let it walk across the eye there, and it will leave a little track, right, as it goes across the surface. So see this, and I imagine that there's a roundness to the brow here, and then there's a very deep area here. And then it kind of goes up again over the tear ducts under the thickness of the upper eyelid. See, this is describing the topography. There's a little hill here. But see how descriptive that is of the structure. I mean, you can do also you can do this going across the form. I'm not gonna cover this with a grid, but you want to keep that in mind. You want to also you want to imagine like this, if you're drawing the eye or if you're drawing the nose or the lips, maybe that you're like a 1/4 inch tall, right? And you're climbing this surface, you know, like how thick this would look, and that you could grab onto it and climb on there and kind of crawl your way all the way up like you're climbing a mountain. And in this way, you are thinking of all these things, you're becoming more involved with the drawing. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start putting in some value. But see now, this is, this here is this is shadow, this is form shadow, this is cast shadow. I'm going to first just give an overall value to all the shadows here, keeping it very even. Even though when I look there in front of me, there's a lot of different values within the shadow. I'm just gonna edit it into one value. Now the drawing might be a little hard to see because I'm using the 2B pencil. It's a lot easier to see if I was to do it with charcoal. It would be a lot easier for you guys to see it on the screen. Or if, like what I did on Friday, like use the ebony pencil. And even though I like the ebony pencil because even though it's darker, it tends to get very grainy. It looks kind of greasy. So I prefer the 2B because that looks a lot more even. And I guess the particles of graphite are not as big. See this? I'm just indicating the shadows here. And see one technique that I have kind of learned that helps in keeping the shading even is, see, I keep going in circles like this. Instead of just like vertically or at an angle, if I do circles, well, not circles, but like in a circular motion, kind of helps keep the shading more even. And see, I'm holding the pencil from the very end here. That you also want to get into that habit, So I'm going to switch over to another 2B pencil that's sharper. Also, once I start to lose the shape, uh, once I start to lose the sharp point, I feel also that the shading becomes more grainy. I also wanted a sharper point to get in here, in this tiny area. So you see that it's very simple at this point, still, just light and shadow, but it has a certain beauty to it. And see this technique of shading, I actually learned it from a student. I had a student a few years ago, and she would turn in the most carefully shaded drawings. And then one day in class, I was just looking over her shoulder to see how she did it. And so I stole her technique. Now, when I look at the cast in front of me, there's more value here. But I don't believe that's shadow, because once I squint, this is the area that becomes darker. And this area becomes, even though there's value here, it becomes lighter. Squinting is like the aperture on a camera. See, before I go in here with my brush to even out the value, I want to practice my skills shading and try and make it as even as I can just by using the point of my pencil here. So I'm gonna get up and take a look at my drawing from a distance. Now, like over here, the light is not as strong, but still keep the shadows unified. You know, like all of this, like this is in shadows. You can't do this now.
Yeah. So it's right here. Yeah, right there.
And also, the mouth, like cans, the boundaries are gonna be more subtle because the curvature is not as dramatic as, like you see it like on the eye, you see the darker shadows because the forms are like more severe. Yeah. This is very nice. Like line. Just watch this. Like it looks like it could use one of those gates. Okay. Yeah, you can correct that. That's looking very nice. Just do like the overall shape of the whole canvas. Like, yeah, like where it cuts off.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, try and keep all the values in the shadow, the same, kind of like what I've done here. Now, I'm not going to assign you another drawing for homework, but I do want you to get caught up with your notes, especially your notes on shading, because I want to really finish this drawing with a lot of value, uh, and I do want you to have this drawing up to this stage, so that we can. Right now, we're just separating light and shadow, but then we want to go into the light mask and add all those transitions, all those different values. And also a little bit I want to work on the background as well. See how when you work on the background, how that affects the object that you're drawing. So like right now, I'm just we're at 11:02. I'm just gonna keep shading this as carefully and as even as I can. And I gave everybody those notes on shading. And so the value that I'm going for here is like a value 7. You look at that value scale that I posted on Blackboard. And see, like this, this shape, I think I maybe a little too wide. So I'm gonna carve it down a little bit here. And I had totally forgotten about this shape here. there's a lot of reflected light in the shadows, but I'm, just ignoring those. So just layers and layers of graphite until it gets to that value 7. Also, I mean, keep in mind that even though the cast that we're drawing is white and the wall is white, that everything has a value. There's going to be very few areas, and there'll be small areas that are the pure white of the paper. Everything, when we get done with this tomorrow, should have a value. See, and you can tell here, like with a drawing, if you have an accurate shape, sometimes that's all you need. That's what I worked on on the drawing, just getting the shape accurate, and also the shape of the shadow shape accurate, and it just two values, the white of the paper and this value 7 that I'm working towards. Developing this value here. And sometimes that's all you need. Now remember, you guys also have to do your part. Like I'm here, you know, making these videos, making these drawings from start to finish. So make sure you do your homework. Make sure you show up for class. So remember, I'll post these photos on Blackboard, you can see. But you want to show me that you've done the, the envelope, that big shape for the cast. And then also like on this one, like I start to block it in inside. Then, something like this, where I've separated the positive, negative, but in this case, it's the light and the shadow. Here's a close-up. And then also you want to have the drawing like this for tomorrow, so we can finish it with a value 7 in all the shadow mass. I'll take a picture of this as well here. And that shows me that you're trying this method, this blocking in method. See all those stages you want to document. And you want to push the drawing, the quality of the drawing. You see everything is angular, no curving lines. And this observation on the contour, no simplified curves, everything broken down into angles. Does anybody have any questions?
How do you, this is not something really related, but how do you manage to keep your pencil so sharp?
Well, if you come to class, I'll give you a complimentary sandpaper block here.
Okay.
So you just use this to, you sharpen with the blade,
Yes.
and then you use this to make it very pointy.
Oh, I see.
Now, of course, you can also buy these at Hobby Lobby or at Michael's. But I bought enough for the whole class.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I keep it very sharp. Keep the pencil point very sharp.
Yes, it doesn't interrupt the process of the drawing, like from taking, like from using the sharpener a lot.
Hold on. Say that again.
Oh no, then I said that it may be like I would say it will be like it will not be a bother to keep sharpening the pencil as you do the drawing because it's already really sharp.
Yeah. And get yourself, 3 or 4 pencils and have them ready there.
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, that's the class for today. Remember, you gotta have your drawings ready up to this point. And I will check them tomorrow morning before we start. Make sure that everybody's ready to finish it and start, start shading. Now, like you guys that are here, you can stay here and keep drawing. Like there's nobody else that comes in. I'll keep working a little bit more, but then I'll go work on something else. But yeah, these guys will be here all day. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. All right, take care.
Professor, is there a time today where you leave the building?
I'll be here. Yeah, I'll be here. pretty much all day. I'm working on some painting, so I'll be in the painting room, but if you're, I mean, just knock there on the painting room.
Is
This
it
is
a, oh,
This is
it's because,
Samantha, right? Who's this?
yeah, I'm Samantha. Yes, it's me.
Yeah, like, yeah, you've been here before.
Yeah, well, I just been here once. It's a pretty nice room, but like I just wanted to go there and just like I guess like talk to you.
Yeah, and also
Uh,
like the drawing room is open and the casts are here. You can also come and draw here.
Yeah, that I had a question about that. So like is it specific, like let's say okay, classes from this time to this time, after this time, after the class ends, like we need to go, or can we stay for like more time to just continue?
Yeah, the room is
to draw?
open and this is the only drawing class in this room. So you can come in here and draw and you can stay here
Okay.
until you want, pretty much.
Until the building closes at. No, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I was thinking like, can we do that, or like, is it like,
Yeah, you
okay, we
can.
need to go? Okay.
Yeah, it's unlocked. I think the building, they closed it like at, I want to say like at 7.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're inside, you can stay inside until, I don't know, till the next day or something.
Yeah. Until they kick me out. Then
Yeah,
you have to go.
but yeah, it's open. It's here for you.
Okay. No, it's just that like I joined late. I've been having trouble, and I don't like making excuses. And I was like, I had those questions, and like I was wondering like if I just come talk to you like just in person. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
like,
of course. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can come in.
yeah, I'm just trying like to get things done and like be with update with the class. Like continuously uploading everything to bother, for instance. But yes.
Okay, yeah, you can come in whenever. Well, you have to. Do you have a blade? Let me go get a blade. Let me. Did I give you this one?
Oh, no, it was here.
That's where it went. It's been there. Did I haven't given you a new one?
No.
Yeah.
I came in late.
Just take out that blue paper. But look, you have to. I mean, you can just buy a sharpener, but look, when you have to be careful for like always cut away. I don't ever like do this. Yeah, the same thing is to get a sharpener. But yeah, I like the carving.
It's easier.
Yeah, you need a sharp X-Acto knife or like a box cutter.
I tried to look for the sandpaper block at Michael's, they didn't have any actually.
Yeah, that one, it has a sandpaper. I had a student that his dad would work at well, you're from Harlingen, right? That where they build rockets, and that sandpaper is for sanding metal.
Wow.
So I've had it for like a couple of years. It never wears out with the graphite. But see, you do that, and then you do this. But don't press down like that because it will break. So like you keep it on here, and you see you turn it.
Is there like a specific way to sharpen the charcoal? Because every time I was sharpening mine, they would break.
Well, and chart, like any pencil, like if you drop it once,
The inside.
the inside breaks, and yeah, then it's like it's ruined. So you have to be real careful with the. And if you order them online, like if they don't come packed like in bubble wrap, I always like return stuff. Like yeah, you have to send me some. You have to send me some that is in bubble wrap because
They don't break it.
yeah, you just call them up and they'll because it's their art supplies are expensive and they're very delicate, especially like pastel pencils, charcoal pencils. See? Of course, if you want it to like in the trash can, just shake it off. But see, like here, when you take this value and bring it all the way up.
Is there like a specific way to? I feel like when I shade, I feel like I don't do it evenly. Like I don't.
I do it in a circle, like a circular kind of. Do it like this. You know, I think that helps in keeping it even. You can just keep overlapping, kind of like scribbles. Yeah, because if you do that, yeah, you get all this kind of streakiness. And then also you can use a brush to even it out. Well, I'm glad you showed up.
You know, I've never really done an art class in person.
Well, you started after or during the pandemic. right?
Well, I was just my minor then, but I changed it to my major.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna end the meeting, Samantha. You're the only one here.
Okay, that's fine, no problem.
All right, I'll see you later.
Yes, of course. Take care.
All right.